So in the last video, we went through how to set up a new vendor account. And in this video, we're going to go through how to set up a new listing once that you've already created your account. So we're logged in right now as our account, and we're going to click on Sell Now, which brings up this screen here. So up here, we're going to add the pictures that we're going to add to the listing. Now it's important to note here that each listing has to be separate. So if you sell muffins, cookies, cakes, you're going to want to create a separate listing for each one of those items. So as we're adding images here, you want to make sure that they are uploaded prior to hitting the button on bottom here. So you'll see processing, and once it's done, that will disappear. There we go. So now you see on top of the images here, there's the main. Now if you click on main, that will make this the first image that the buyer will see when they're going to your listing. So you can move that around, and you can also delete your pictures here just by clicking on this X. So the second item here is whether your product is a physical or a digital. So digital would be something that the buyers would download, such as a song or video, MP4, something like that. But in this case, we're going with the physical item. We're going to give it a title, category, and a description. So you can see here we've got a title as Stunning and Delicious 3-Layer Cake, categories under Baked and Specialty Foods, Baked Goods, and Cakes. Quick description in here, and then we scroll on down to the pickup locations. So here you have the option of using Spreespot's pickup drop-off points, which are mostly convenience stores located in and around the city of Moncton, Riverview, Dieppe, Irishtown here. And you can also add your own home pickup location. For the first listing that you create, you do have to choose one of these locations, and we can remove it afterwards, or you can actually, if you actually do want to provide that as a location, you can keep it in here. But for this example, we'll just say that we're actually willing to drop off at all locations, and then we'll put in our own pickup address here. And once we've done that, just click on Save and Continue. So now up here we've got quantity, and it's important to note here that when somebody makes a purchase through the website, this quantity will go down by one or by however many they purchased. So if this is an item that is kind of like a cake where you're constantly baking new ones as they come along, you can put this number up quite high. So you don't have to keep going into your listing and changing it up, because once the quantity is 0, your listing will be marked as sold, and you then need to go into your account here under My Listings, find your listing, and change this quantity number again to start selling, because the buyers will not see it if it's marked as sold. So we set a price here. So let's say $60 for a cake. We're not going to charge any tax. And if people are picking up from me directly, I'm going to choose not to allow them to pay online, because I would rather have cash. So if you don't mind that they pay online, you can go ahead and disable and leave this off, or you can put it on there. So here we have variations, and variations can be a little bit complex. However, to leave the platform flexibility and to give sellers more options, these are required. So we'll just go through what adding a variation here will do. So if we can add like flavors, for example, for your cake. And what is this going to be? It's going to be a text. So you can set the number, checkbox, radio button, or drop down. Actually, in this case, for the flavor, we will do a drop down. So let's see what that looks like. So now that we've added the drop down of flavors, you can see here that we have options. So if you click on Edit Options here, it's going to let us load in what we want the buyer to see as an option. So we'll just add in chocolate. And add another one of vanilla. And let's say that's good. So we can save the changes there. and we X out. So just to show you here quickly what that looks like, we've got all of our locations that we picked here. We have our own home location right here. So the buyer can pick which location they want to pick up at, and they also choose whether they want the chocolate or vanilla from the drop-down list that we created. So now we're going to add a variation for the icing. So if we click on add variation here, we can go icing color. And we can set whether we want drop down, radio button. So in this case, let's choose a checkbox and see what that looks like. So again, if we go on, we've created our variation here. We click on edit options, and now we can add whichever options we want to allow in here. So let's say we've got just the orange. We'll add in pink and red. And we can X out here. And here's what that's going to look like. So at this point, the buyer can pick their color here, but this could be used as an example of what not to do, I guess. Because these are checkboxes, they can actually choose more than one. So what we actually should have done here is create buttons instead of checkboxes. So if you want to allow them to do more than one, you can do the checkboxes. Otherwise, you will want to do a drop down or the buttons. Let's go ahead and create the buttons and see what that'll look like. So we'll just add variation, putting icing colors, and we will choose the radio button. Now we will click on edit options, and again we'll put in our colors here. So once that's done, we'll just X out and click on save changes. So this is what this variation is going to look like now. The one we just created was called icing colors, and you can see that you can click on only one, which is probably what you would actually want if you were actually doing this. So again, if it's the checkbox, you can choose more than one. However, on the button, you just can choose the one. So in this case, the buyer can choose all of these options, choose their pickup location, and then add to cart.